Now let's bring in Devin McCourty. He's a Football Night in America analyst, three-time Super Bowl champ with the Patriots, and part of the Super Bowl pregame festivities. Super Bowl, that'll be on NBC and Peacock. What do you remember about your first Super Bowl?
Man, the first one went fast. I remember we had a cool team dinner over there at St. Elmo's. I remember the bill came in one of the rooms I was in, and we looked at each other, a bunch of young players. We were like, hey, Tom Brady and Wes Welker in the other room. Take this bill in there and see what they say. And they covered everything. I remember being happy. But I just remember when you go on the field for the first time, Super Bowl Sunday pregame, the amount of people you see everywhere, Hall of Famers, like legendary players in the NFL, celebrities. It feels exactly like where you want it to be. And I remember my first time, I kind of forgot about the game. So much happening where I was very fortunate to go back 4 other times. But that first time, you're just kind of happy to be there, which sometimes doesn't allow you to probably play your best game.
If you were with the Patriots and you were facing Jarrett Stidham, how different is your approach to him than it would be Bo Nix at quarterback?
I think play style and stuff, it wouldn't be that different. I think with Bo Nix in there, I think you have to be more ready for him using his legs and running. I think the biggest difference would be preparation wise. I would tell our coaching staff, give us everything you got. Let's have as many calls in there starting on the first day of the week and see how much can we learn by Friday, by Saturday, that we feel good to go out there and execute. Because when you get a guy like Stidham, who's a veteran, but he just hasn't been in there, you want to give him different looks. You want to disguise. You want him to have to think about a lot of different things that you might not do as much of with Bo Nix because he's been out there. So I think how you prepare and how many defensive calls you have were probably the biggest difference.
Okay, but how do you disguise? We hear that a lot, that you disguise something.
I've always thought about let's make it look like something it's not. So in football, there's so many different coverages you run, and sometimes people disguise by just moving around. That doesn't do anything. Like in practice, when I used to go against Tom Brady, we used to have conversations, and he would say, if you stand right behind one of the defensive backs that are on the line of scrimmage, I think that guy's blitzing and you're going to replace him. So when you're disguising, if you're not doing that, stand behind him, tell him to act like he's blitzing, and then after the snap, run to something else. And I always think about that. And disguising something, if I want you to think it's blitz, I want to show blitz and then don't blitz. I want to show that I'm not blitzing and then blitz. It's a very simple thing, but people get confused by thinking disguise is moving around. It's making a quarterback think he knows something and then taking it away once the ball is snapped.
But did Belichick disguise the coverage when Russell Wilson threw the interception?
No disguise on that. Everybody knew what that was. We played one play. I tell people all the time, when he threw that interception, if they would have ran any other route, it would have been a touchdown. When they got in there bunched in tight, we knew that was when they ran their pick play. Brandon Browner did a heck of a job, what we call jamming the point. Lockett was on the ball. He got right in his face, kept him right at the line of scrimmage so Malcolm Butler could come right behind and intercept the pass. So that had more to do with how you prepare, being ready to go. This is going to show up, and when it shows up, Malcolm went and made a play.
You didn't expect Marshawn Lynch to get the ball?
Well, we thought that, but in that situation, we had 3 guys on the field to play the pass. Those 3 guys were thinking about the pass. Everybody else was playing the run. Nobody else cared about Wilson throwing the ball. It was all about stopping Marshawn Lynch, and that's what our season came down to at that point.
I just thought run-pass option with Russell Wilson made the most sense, that you can still use his legs and you can live to have another play, but throwing a ball over the middle, and I'm under the goalpost. I'm right behind you, Devin. I'm going to hand out the trophy. So I'm waiting. I think Seattle's winning the Super Bowl. And all of a sudden, I just thought, I said, oh, bleep, when I saw him throw the pass over the middle. And then I didn't even know Malcolm caught it. I thought, oh, my God, they could have intercepted that. Mm-hmm. And Malcolm came up with the ball, and I go, oh, he's going to try to sell that he made the interception. And then I said, oh, but damn, they just won the Super Bowl. Malcolm just won the Super Bowl with an interception.
I thought it was one of the best calls that Seattle could have made at that point in time.
Because I'm watching Marshawn Lynch. I'm staring right at him because I'm going. I have my camera out. I'm like, I got a great angle here.
And it was funny because he had just got it down to the
Yes.
1 yard line,
Yeah.
where he almost scored. Like Hightower, like threw his body out there to help him trip and fall at the 1 yard line. And I know Bill always talks about earlier in the fourth quarter, they had a 3rd-and-1 situation and they ran the ball and we stopped them. And he felt like that discouraged them.
Oh.
But again, if I was a head coach, I would have been on the headset saying, give the ball to 24. I don't care if we give it to him 2 times. I'd rather lose handing the ball to him.
He's NBC Football Night in America studio analyst and 3-time Super Bowl champ, Devin McCourty. I riled up my fan base here. I said, if I'm the Raiders, I consider trading that number 1 overall pick. And what I did is I used a quote from Ben Roethlisberger saying, you got to have the team ready to then bring the quarterback in. You have to have offensive line or skill position. The Raiders aren't ready. And you're going to ask Fernando Mendoza to go in there to a organization that hasn't been trustworthy. I would at least be listening to offers from Arizona, Indy, Miami, the Jets, and see, because you need a lot. I just hate to see a rookie quarterback go into that situation. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that to a certain extent. I think it matters how much you fall in love with Mendoza. Do you think Mendoza's the guy that can battle through 2 or 3 really bad years? And I think that's a hard decision because exactly what you said, asking a guy to do that is what we see in Seattle right now with Sam Darnold. Oh, it's Sam Darnold's fault. He's not that good. No, like the Jets team wasn't ready for him to come in and be the quarterback. So then you fast forward, he looks like the problem and he goes elsewhere. But I think the hard thing is if you just think like, man, the journey of Mendoza, what he's done, being at Indiana, I think if we get this guy, even though we might get a top 5 pick the next 2 years, those picks that we get will turn into these players that now will be able to go and win. Then to me, you can't pass up on them. But I would definitely listen to see, hey, how do we get our team better that, maybe a bridge quarterback can help us win some games. And now next thing you know, we go get our guy. We're ready to possibly be in a conference championship or a Super Bowl.
Is Puka Nacua coverable?
No, I don't think so. And I say that because I remember when I was young and we would play against Larry Fitzgerald, and was Larry Fitzgerald coverable? No, not really, but because he didn't have the quarterback to make him even more dangerous, you were able to do different things that limited him. With Puka Nacua, it's so hard because he's so good, but then Matthew Stafford understands when to throw it to him, how to change the routes, how to make him open, which makes it impossible, especially when you think about you got Devontae Adams on the other side, and you don't want to live in one-on-one coverage with him all game either.
So what do you do? What's Seattle going to do?
I think you pick your poison, right? If you say we're going to go one-on-one with Puka Nacua, but you're not going to have time to get him the ball, and we're going to take everybody else away, I think that's one way to do it. Or you double team him. You try to take him out of the game by double teaming him. But I don't think that's really Seattle's thing. I think Seattle's going to run its defense and bet on getting to the quarterback, pressuring the quarterback, and their guys holding up in the secondary. They have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I think they'll say we're willing to test that Sunday.
Would you be saying, if you were facing Sam Darnold and Seattle, Sam, go ahead, beat us?
Yeah, you got to make Sam Darnold win the game. There's no doubt about it. And I think Sam Darnold's come a long way. I think he has an opportunity now. You think back, 4 or 5 years ago, seeing ghosts and all of that, he has a chance to be a guy in the Super Bowl. But through that, you can't let him just drop back and throw easy passes. You got to put pressure. You got to take away Kenneth Walker in the run game and make Sam Darnold time after time make the right throw, read the right coverage. And I think the key to that is pressure in the middle of the pocket, not running around the edge. How do you get pressure right in his face and make him move is what usually gives him problems.
What was your playing weight?
About 190 to 195.
Okay. What is it like knowing the guy who weighs 240 is coming at you and you know it's going to hurt? And everybody's watching on TV, so you do have to make an effort here. But what is that feeling like?
You just brought up Super Bowl 49. I told Hightower and Jamie Collins, do not let Marshawn Lynch back here to me at all. I will help you in coverage as much as possible. But it especially in these games, you don't even think about it because you relish at the opportunity to just get that guy down. Just get him on the ground. Don't give up the big play. But it's not fun deciding how I'm going to get this guy on the ground. You just know you got to get him. You got to get him down.
But it's going to hurt.
It's always going to hurt, but it'll feel good because if you win the game, you get a couple drinks in you after, you celebrate, and it all feels good.
We were talking to our audience. Fan bases have that one play that they just can't get over. Like Buffalo, looking at the interception against Denver, they're not going to get over that. Is there a play that you're never going to get over?
Oh, Super Bowl 52. Zach Ertz beats me on a slant and ends up catching the game-winning touchdown when we lost to the Eagles in Super Bowl 52. Right before we got the ball back, our offense got the ball back with a little bit of time, but that play I'll never forget. I talked to my kids about that play already, about how you can work your butt off, be in the right situation, and it just doesn't work out, and you got a choice to make after that. Either you say, hey, that's it, I'm done, or you rebound and you try to play better next time in sports or anything in life. So Zach Ertz, I love him as a person, but I hate him because of that play.
Looked like he pushed off a little bit here, Dev.
They all push off, man. They all push off.
Yeah, but you guys all hold.
Exactly. That's why I didn't get mad at the refs. It is what it is, and that was a play that I'll never forget.
Okay, explain this to me because I was told this by a former player who played defensive back. He said, as long as I keep my hands inside you, like I can hold on to one of your arms, I can pin one of your arms down, and as long as I'm looking back at the ball, then you can get away with some things. Is that a fair assessment of the new approach here, or is it a new approach?
Yeah, grab inside, grab low. Darrelle Revis was the best at it. I remember training with him in Arizona, and he would show us all these little things. Like he knew how when he was running down the sideline with a guy, he would be close to him, and he would grab either their jersey or their undershirt under the jersey, and he'd be running with it. And he wouldn't just hold it the whole time. He would just tug at it a little bit and would catch him off guard, like all those little things. He would always hold on those plays, but he knew how to hold. And the best defensive backs, they know how to hold. It's not do they hold. You got to just know how to do it and get away with it. And then when you do it for long enough, the refs, they don't even look for it because they know you're just that good. And I got the opportunity to see that from Revis for a few years, and that's why he was so good.
But where's Revis rank all time corners?
Definitely. For me, for what I watched as an adult, for me, he would be 1 or 2 with Deion Sanders. Some of the key people I watched when I was really young, I would have to really go back and study their game, but he ranks up there right at the top. I know like Aeneas Williams and Darrell Green when I was kids, like those dudes were the dudes. But Darrelle Revis, for me, especially in our era, he was the best.
But also, you can look at stats and they can be misleading because you can say, oh, that guy only had X number of interceptions. Well, nobody was throwing in his direction. Nobody was throwing in Deion's direction. Nobody's throwing in Revis's direction. It'd be the other cornerbacks who end up getting, a large bulk of the interceptions.
Yeah, and I think what people forget is how players impact the game. Like in 2014, when we got Darrelle Revis, even 2 years before that, we got Aqib Talib. Like those guys dictated how we played defense. So when we played with Revis and then Stephon Gilmore became that, we moved our whole defense to the other side. We shifted coverage. Like when you're able to impact that, and then the offense, and basically what we say is we're going to make the quarterback look at his reads, and the read says, go backside and throw at that guy. And the quarterback says, no, I don't want to do that. Like that's a Hall of Fame player. That's one of the best to do it. And I think I was very fortunate. I got to play with some guys who did that at a high level. And I think when we go back and just read stats, we leave that part out of it where guys come and they dictate the whole game plan in a single game is really hard to do.
Always great to talk to you. Thank you, Devin.
Anytime, Dan. Good catching up.
Devin McCourty, Football Night in America, NBC and Peacock will bring you the Super Bowl He won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots. Yeah, I forgot that he was covering the guy who had the game-winning touchdown. Whoops.
That's a good one to bring up, actually.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
What's the one that you can't let go of? Oh, the one where we lost the Super Bowl on. That was my, it's unfortunate, but.
Yeah.